Hello there, YouTube. Welcome back to my Super Metroid Let's Play. We're gonna start this episode off with a bang. We're gonna go right into a boss fight, so that's pretty hype. We are right where we left off in the last episode, in that save room, and we're gonna drop down this door and immediately begin the fight with this freak of nature. This little bastard is called Crocomire. And Crocomire is actually really cool because he's kind of unique. He doesn't actually have a set amount of health. If you see, every time I shoot him and get a missile into his mouth, you can see a common theme here, shoot things in the mouth, you see he takes a step back. And that's actually how you beat him, is he doesn't have a set amount of health, you just have to knock him back a certain number of steps so that he will, spoiler alert, fall into the nasty acid that you can see just below the walkway we're fighting on. That nasty kind of amber colored shit. That's acid, and it's pretty nasty. So, yep, that's how you beat Crocomire. You just wait for him to open his mouth and then fill it with missiles or charged shots or super missiles, I guess, if you're so inclined. But basically, you just want to knock him back until he gets about to here, and then he'll stand on the crumble blocks and fall into the acid. And me being a dumbass, I walked forward a little bit, so you can't really see, but Crocomire's death scene, and here I walk forward a bit, but Crocomire's death scene is pretty fucking gruesome, especially for the Super Nintendo. Like, his flesh is literally melting off of his bones. It's pretty nasty. I mean, that's completely scientifically inaccurate. I mean, even the strongest acids I know of aren't gonna do anything like that. But it's still, I don't know, it's cool to watch in a really gruesome, disgusting way, so. And now we're actually going to go into the next room. I'm going to show off that, once again, I'm actually not very good at this game. I'm going to go into the next room, and we're actually going to do a little bit of farming simulator. And there's a very good reason for that, and you'll see that here in a moment. So, first things first, though, we gotta get my health back, because I'm actually gonna need my, I'm gonna need some pretty full health here in just a few seconds. And I fill up on missiles too, just because I like to have full missiles whenever I can, because, I don't know, I'm just that guy. I like to be full on everything, so. Excuse me. But yeah, I am now full, so I'm gonna come back into this room. And I'm going to shoot this door open, but not go through it, and that's important. Because what I'm about to do is, I'm about to try and do something, if I can even get out of the damn acid, about to do something called the Shine Spark. If you saw me there, I got the speed booster going, and I got my suit to turn blue, and then I crouch, and jump, and then suddenly fly across the screen, and that's called a Shine Spark. And that actually uses your health. Basically what it is it lets you fly across the screen really fast at the expense of your health. So I did a little quick jump cut there because it took me a while to get this, because you're not actually supposed to Shine Spark horizontally like that while in midair, so it's actually kind of difficult to do. But basically opening that door and Shine Sparking the way I just did lets me fly across this room and into here and get power bombs actually late, technically. Technically these power bombs are, you're supposed to have power bombs before you kill Crocomire, but obviously I've already done that. So technically I just got power bombs late. So it's kind of a backwards sequence break if you think about it. But it's still cool because it lets me do some fun stuff. It lets me get some stuff in some kind of weird orders. That I know is a sequence break because you're not supposed to be intended to be able to Shine Spark that way. So anyway, the rest of this video is a lot of item collection. So if that's not really your thing, fair warning now, this video is going to be about half an hour of item collection. And see, that's fine to me, because that's my favorite part of a Metroid game. I love the item collection parts. But I know a lot of people don't really like to watch it as much, and I understand that. But yeah, just a quick warning, so if Metroid item collection isn't your thing, you may want to skip ahead to the next part. But if you do decide to stick around, you're in for a treat. There's some cool stuff going to happen in this video. So, We just got ourselves a little missile expansion, and now we're going to come down here into this little room. Lay a power bomb there to blow away the blocks. And you see that little stalactite, and that is a stalactite because it's hanging from the ceiling. That's how you can tell the difference. It's actually made out of speed booster blocks, so you can just get a speed boost and then jump from the edge and fly all the way up to here and grab the grappling beam. It's an interesting little item. Not really sure what else to say about it. It does kind of what you think. It's a beam that lets you sort of attach to certain things and swing around like Spider-Man or Tarzan or whatever. So it's cool, but it's kind of difficult to use, unfortunately. So we're actually not done in this room just yet, so I'm going to lay another power bomb and kill these little... I'm actually not sure what these things are technically called. I think they look like fireflies, like enormous fireflies, so that's what I'm going to call them. So get a Shine Spark charged, jump down there, and grab this missile. And Shine Sparks are really versatile. You can spark, straight up, you can spark horizontally. If you're holding down one of the angle buttons, you can actually Shine Spark diagonally. So it's really cool, it's really versatile, it lets you do a lot of really awesome stuff. You've just got to beware because it does drain your health pretty dramatically. It is not a friendly maneuver, at least not to your energy. So before you go attempting any kind of crazy sparks, make sure you've got plenty of health, because otherwise you're going to be in for a bad day. And with that climb up of that room, I make wall jumping look easy, and spoiler alert, you're going to find out later in this video that it's actually really not easy at all. Wall jumping is actually pretty difficult for various reasons. Here I am just kind of taking a little save for myself. This is where I did a little quote scene transition while I was recording. Just to make it easier on myself so I didn't have to re-record like, 10, 15, 20 minutes of footage. So, anyway, we've got all the stuff we need from this particular part of Norfair, so we're going to start kind of making our way out a little bit now. Gonna grab a couple more items along the way. Actually, here in Crocomyre's room, we're gonna grab an energy tank. I don't know what that little glitch was where you saw 3 Samuses on screen all at once. I think it has something to do with the speed booster and the fact that I grappled right out of it. Because if you notice the speed booster, when you get going fast enough, you have like little echo images trailing behind Samus because she's moving so fast. And I think that's just that little weird glitch was just kind of an artifact of that. And there I demonstrated my favorite grapple technique for grappling along blocks on the ceiling. It's basically angle up in the direction you want to go, so in this case angle up left, and then just mash the fire button, and that's all you do. It's pretty reliable, gets you across fairly easily, not too bad. Here, those little green buttons like that should come as no surprise. Those require a super missile to open. And now we're actually back into the very, very first room of Norfair. And here I'm going to demonstrate that, once again, I'm actually not very good at this game because I'm going to fall all the way back down. But yeah. And now we're going to come up here and we're going to enter this door. And there's some pretty cool stuff here behind door number whatever that is. Pay attention to those power bomb blocks. We're gonna go there pretty soon. That little wall jump there was pretty clutch. I have no idea how I pulled that one off to save myself from falling in the lava. And here I kind of suffer from the Let's Play curse a little bit, because what I'm trying to do is a mid-air morph to get myself stuck up there in the gap that you can see. And the very first time I ever attempted that, I got it on my very first try, and I was like, psh, whatever, this is so easy. And then I kind of fuck it up like a moron there because I'm recording, so you all know how that works. But yeah, so now I have the Ice Beam. And the Ice Beam in Super Metroid is interesting. It does pretty much the same thing as any other 2D Metroid, is it freezes enemies and lets you stand on them like platforms. But the unfortunate thing is that it always does that. So, like, if you shoot an enemy, even if it's a one-hit kill, the ice beam will freeze it. So the ice beam will do more damage than, like, just the Spazer and Wave Beam, but it will always add an extra hit. And now I like to think of this as one of the worst missile expansions in the game, and it doesn't look like it. But all of the platforms in this room are crumble blocks. Every single one. You can imagine what kind of a nightmare it makes this room to get through. Plus, with all of these lava gamers everywhere, it's so bad. So I end up falling down all the way, and that's fine. That's pretty standard for this room. This room is a pain in the ass, no matter how good you are. It's fortunate because actually, if you jump with exactly the right timing, you can actually jump off of these crumble blocks. And I can't really explain the timing very well. You just have to kind of practice it and get used to it. But it is possible, and you can just kind of hop your way back up the room to grab this missile. And that is definitely one of the worst missiles in the game to get, but we have it now, so it's okay. Now we're into this room. Quick PSA, do not arm pump in this room, because that happens. I had no idea that would happen when I did this, and I was just like, well, okay, that's interesting. So, don't arm pump. And, yeah. And now you can see we're actually in the room right above Crocomire again. Norfair is kind of like that. Norfair is, like, really long and loopy, and it loops back along itself quite a lot, and there are multiple ways to get to basically anywhere in Norfair that you want to go. There are probably two or three different ways to get there. And what you saw me do there a moment ago was I was going to go into the save room, but then I remembered, oh wait, there's something back up in Bubble Mountain that I want to get. So that's actually where I'm headed now, is Bubble Mountain. And if you don't remember, Bubble Mountain is the kind of green bubbly room where I got that really fun, difficult jump thing. Right before, it's the room like right before the speed booster. And I'm gonna be doing that jump again, but I'm actually gonna have to cut it this time because in proper fashion it didn't want to happen for me. So, and I figured, hey, you guys have seen me do it already, so it won't be a big deal if I just kind of jump cut it here. So I'm just gonna show myself setting up for it, and then I'm just gonna cut, yeah, right there, right to when I get it, because you guys don't want to watch the 2 or 3 minutes of me standing there fucking with it, trying to get it. So, now we're just going to grapple over here and enter this super missile door, and we're going to grab that missile tank over there. But wait, there's more. Excuse me. You see that hole I opened in the wall up there? There's actually some stuff in a room just beyond this hole. And we're going to get it, because that's why we're here. So, yeah. This room. Oof, what to say about this room? This room is definitely, it feels to me like a throwback to the original Metroid. There are so many rooms in the original game like this. Yes, I have played the original Metroid. It's terrible. It's so hard. It's an important game, and I acknowledge it for what it is and how important it is. But dear God, you can't play it. It has not aged well. So, basically the theory behind this room is just get across. There's a missile in that last block there that's hidden, and there's a reserve tank in that kind of egg ball thing. You actually can't kill those lava dragons with your beam just yet. That's why you saw me trying to charge shot the first one in the room, because I couldn't remember for sure if I could kill it. I was just like, let's go ahead and try. But it turns out I can't, so oh well. But yeah, we are now actually completely done in Norfair for the time being, I believe. So we're now gonna make our way out of Norfair. By the way, through that door is a save room if you need it for some reason. So yeah, we're gonna make our way out of Norfair and back up into Brinstar. Now, if you're familiar with this game, the path I'm about to take is probably gonna seem a little weird, because with the game, I think basically I sequence broke a whole lot, and at this point what I think most people who have followed a path sort of similar to like one I'm using, what they would do is they would go to the wrecked ship and fight the boss there and get the gravity suit and all that stuff. But I'm actually not going to do that. And the reason being, there's a room in Red Brinstar, Red Tower. It's the big reactor shaft. And if I were to go to the wrecked ship right now, I would have to climb up that room. And that room is disgusting. And I cannot stand climbing it, because I don't like using the ice beam to climb. It's finicky, it's not reliable, I just don't like it. So I'm actually not going to do that. I'm going to take a much more circuitous route, I guess. And I'm actually going to... I am going to the wrecked ship. That is my next destination. But I'm not going to get there via Red Tower. I'm actually going to get there via Crateria. So I'm going to loop all the way around through Red Brinstar, through Green Brinstar, clear out most of Green Brinstar, and then go into Crateria, and then go to the wrecked ship from there. And I'm going to just collect a whole shitload of items on the way, because there's a lot of stuff left in Green Brinstar right now that I kind of want, so I'm going to get it. Because the boss in the wrecked ship, no matter what anyone tells you, the boss in the wrecked ship is awful. It is disgusting, and if I were to fight it right now, I would die. It would kick my ass. And yeah, this is Red Tower here, and you're gonna see me struggle a lot to climb it. And this is the first part. This is the easy part of climbing Red Tower. There's another part that's worse, farther up. Yeah, this room right here is the reason I use the route I use, and why this episode is a bunch of item collection, is because I didn't want to have to climb all the way up this room, because it's awful. Anyway, that's enough complaining about Red Tower, since we're almost out of it. I guess the good part about Red Tower is it takes forever, so you get to listen to the awesome music for longer. Anyway, so we're now back in Green Brinstar, and I actually forgot to mention the first time I came through here. This right here is called Noob Bridge, because a lot of people, when they're first playing this game, they don't realize that there's a dash button. And you actually have to be running to make it over that bridge, otherwise you will fall off. Because the crumble blocks. So that's for that reason that bridge there is called Noob Bridge, because it actually, you know, screws up and, you know, kind of gets a lot of people stuck because they're not sure how to get over it. But that's all you have to do. You just have to run. So, yeah. And I have the speed booster, so it's even more inconsequential. Oh, and by the way, sorry guys, no, there is no reverse slinky in this playthrough. If you know what that is, then I'm sorry to disappoint, but no reverse slinky. Alright, coming up here is a pretty serious sequence break, because there's an energy tank in the room down here, and you're supposed to have the gravity suit to be able to get it. I don't have the gravity suit, and coming back down here after getting the gravity suit would be a massive pain in the ass, so I'm just gonna skip the gravity suit. And there's gonna be another jump cut here, because this tank is incredibly difficult to get. I actually have to shine spark. Here, and I'm just going to kind of let it speak for itself. So what you see me do there was actually up top, I had to do what's called a short charge, which is what it sounds like. You basically charge a shine spark in a shorter distance than the game intends for you to do. And then you store it and drop off the platform, and at just the right height you do a horizontal shine spark to break through the speed booster blocks there. And the reason you're supposed to have the gravity suit is because of all the water in that room. It slows Samus down and makes her really, really sluggish unless you have the gravity suit. And you actually can't use the speed booster in water at all unless you have the gravity suit, and I don't. So I just did that little skip there. It's actually not little, it's actually really difficult to do that. Took me several minutes and many attempts to get it, and that's why I jump cut, because I didn't figure anyone wanted to sit there watching me, you know, dick around for 3 or 4 minutes, doing the same thing over and over again. So yeah, this part of the video is nothing but hardcore item collection, which, like I said, is my favorite part of any given Metroid game, but I know there are a lot of people who don't like watching it, and that's understandable. So yeah, this room here is a really great example of Super Metroid is as difficult as you make it. You may have seen over there to the right, or actually to the left, excuse me, good God, there was a grapple block, and that's there basically to allow you to get that energy tank I just got if you can't wall jump. You don't actually have to wall jump up this pillar thing. You can grapple up on that block and then shoot the button and then just jump over. Or, alternatively, if you can wall jump, you can just wall jump up. And there are a lot of places in Super Metroid that do that, where the area is designed in such a way that you can use, and Samus has so many different abilities and so many different options for getting around that, I mean, you can do things in a whole host of different ways if you want, and if you can't do something one way, there's probably another way that you can do it. And that I think is part of what makes Super Metroid so good, is that it really is as hard as you want to make it. It's not an easy game, as the title from episode 2 implied. Haha, that was a great pun. I was really proud of myself for coming up with that one. But Super Metroid is not an easy game, but it is definitely a possible game, a game that's possible to play and beat. For people of varying skill levels, you don't have to be an MLG pro to play and beat this game. And I think that's what makes it so popular and so well loved, is that so many different people can play it. Now, what's about to happen here is the Crocomire skip that I talked about all the way back in the very first episode. So you see me lay that power bomb and it breaks those blocks, and then I run all the way over to the left here, and then stand in this very specific spot and shoot a super missile. And what that did is there's actually a super missile block at the end of that little tunnel there, and running back to the left the way I did, it loads the room in a funky way. I don't know how it works, I don't know why it works, but the upshot is that it lets me fire a super missile through the tunnel and break the super missile block in the end. And that lets me come in here and get this super missile, which is what you're supposed to get from killing Spore Spawn. And that lets me skip fighting Spore Spawn entirely. Yeah, I never have to fight him at all because of that little skip I did. And it's actually really easy. It's really easy to do. It's just kind of precise where you stand to shoot the super missile. If you saw that little kind of stalk thing that I was standing on, if you basically position Samus so she's kind of being bisected by that stalk, then you should be fine. But yeah, so we're now done with the Pepto area of Brinstar. If you see those funky blocks there in the middle of the path, I guess, those are speed booster blocks, and if you break them, you will fall down and you will meet the Decora, which is a kind of ostrich-like creature that I'm not going to show off in this playthrough. I'm trying to call it a run, it's not really a run. But that little guy, he teaches you how to Shine Spark, which is, as I've kind of shown off earlier, is a really useful move. It's really cool. It's really nice to know. Now, this room here is absolutely a throwback to the original Metroid, and there's one energy tank like this in almost every 2D Metroid game. You saw me jump there because there's actually a gap in the floor that you can't see, and if you don't jump, you will fall, and you'll have to come all the way back up and around in order to get that energy tank. It's a huge pain and you don't want to do it, so just jump about where I did and you should be fine. And there you see me falling through. And now I'm just going to take a save because I've done a lot and gotten a lot of stuff, and I just want to be safe, so excuse me. So just another little scene transition for recording purposes, basically, and now we're gonna go get, we're gonna go meet the Edecoons, which are sort of, I don't know, kind of monkey-like creatures, I guess? I'm not really sure what they are, but they teach you how to wall jump. And that there is, if you remember back when I fought Kraid and said that you can just kill those frog things by shooting a missile up, that's what I was trying to do there. Yeah. This room, I don't know what to say about this room. I really don't. You can just watch, and that pretty much says everything that needs to be said about this room. So, yeah. Yeah, those little guys down there, you saw them for a brief second. Those are the Edecoons. They kind of teach you how to wall jump. And they actually sing the item found fanfare when you find them, which is kind of cool. But yeah, and here you see me demonstrating that wall jumping is actually particularly difficult, especially single wall jumping. The Etiquette, as you can see, you're demonstrating two-wall jumping, but you can easily do it on one wall. Well, I say easily, but I mean it's possible to do it on one wall. It's not easy. But yeah, so you just wall jump your way up there, go into this little tunnel and grab the power bombs, and if you can manage a short hop mock ball out of there, you can actually retain enough speed that you don't fall down this tower tunnel thing again and have to wall jump back up out. But I am not good at mock balls at all. Absolutely terrible. So, unfortunately, I'm not able to do that. And with that, we are just about done with Green Brinstar. I think there's like maybe one or two other things left in this area. I'm not for sure, but the short version is that we've cleared a lot of stuff in this episode, and there's actually still a little bit more to go, so that's some pretty hype stuff. So for now, we're going to be making our way back up into Crateria, towards the kind of space pirate-y area, I guess, where Mother Brain was in the first game. And in recording commentary for the first episode and then in watching it back to make sure everything was good, I realized that at one point I accidentally called Mother Brain Metroid. I said something like, "This is the old Turian escape shaft that you escape out of after you kill Metroid." And I realized during, my kind of watch through to make sure that everything worked, I realized that's what I said, and I was like, oh my god, did I really just do that? And it turns out I did, so this is kind of my opportunity to set things right and say, I'm sorry, I know that Mother Brain is not a Metroid, so yeah. And there's a fun little quirk of the speed booster that you've kind of seen before, but that I thought I'd point out, is that you can actually kill things with the speed booster. As long as your suit is blue, it's called blue suit, go figure, and you have the kind of after images, you are effectively invincible and will kill just about anything that happens upon you. And it's pretty great. So, just grabbing this missile here because it's there, it's kind of sort of convenient, not really, but there's no other really good time to go and get the stuff that's out here. So, yep, just more item collection. I believe we're going to... No, not this time. Okay. There's actually some stuff down in the old Mother Brain area, and I thought that's where we were going to go, but nope, I was incorrect. We are going to now face what's called the Gauntlet. And the Gauntlet is a collection of, I think, 4 items. A power bomb, an energy tank, and 2 missile expansions that are in this general area here. And here you see me taking another save because I'm about to take on the Gauntlet, and I have to do a really long Shine Spark at one point, and I want to make sure I have plenty of health for it. I actually have to do several Shine Sparks to get everything in here. So there you see the first one. From that spot, you Shine Spark diagonally up, and you'll end up here, and you can open this power bomb door. And you come in here. This is just a kind of a basic item room. There's acid, some of these, I think they're called dragoons, but I'm not sure. Some spikes on the ceiling, little platforms, and a power bomb at the end. This is just some pretty basic Metroid-y stuff. It's a cool room, but it's kind of forgettable. It's a lot like there's another room that I'm reminded of a lot by this down in Norfair. Has a missile expansion in it. It's right before you get the grapple beam, but yeah. And so now here what you're going to see me do is showing off something a lot of people I don't think know about this game, is that you can actually turn off the things you get. And basically you can turn off any upgrade you get. And here I turn off the ice and spacer beams, yeah. And I start shooting random charge shots. But that's not entirely random. If you fire a charged wave beam shot from exactly the right spot, there's a door on the other side of this room, and your shot will actually wrap around and open it, and that's what I'm trying to do here. But I don't ever manage to get it, because it's actually really, really hard, and I end up just giving up after a moment. And so here you see me doing another short charge, and I do another jump cut, because you've seen me do short charges before, and it's kind of annoying to watch. So there's a little jump cut, and now here I kind of get it, but not really. But that's okay, because I'm able to lay a power bomb up there. And attempt and fail multiple times to wall jump into the opening. Yep, I'm so good at this game. Not really. But yeah, I come in here, and that there is the door I was trying to open a moment ago with the wave beam shots, and so I'm just going to turn my beams back on because I like having them all turned on. And I'm actually going to shine spark my way back up to where I was, and then I'm going to do another short charge, and I'm going to do one of the most badass shine sparks in this entire game. I'm going to get my charge, and I'm going to jump down to another platform, and I'm going to spark all the way across this room. All the way across this room, and right into this door. And that's a huge shine spark, and I think it's absolutely fantastic to watch, and it just makes the previous room a lot easier, because what you're supposed to do is lay a whole crap load of power bombs, avoid the acid, the enemies. It's kind of... It's not super easy, and you'll take a lot of damage, but with that shine spark you can just ignore it all, and it's really cool. So this room here is basically what that last room that I just skipped with the shine spark, it's basically the same thing. So, but this episode is actually about to come to an end, and I'm going to end up leaving it off in what looks like a really, really odd place. But there's a reason for why I do that, and I would explain it, but I don't really have time. So if you'd like to see why I'm doing what I'm doing, you'll just have to watch the next episode. So until then, I'd like to thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you again in the next part.